As I mentioned at the beginning of this tutorial, I really am covering every step because I'm starting right at the beginning with the sprue. I probably won't cover the sprue again in painting miniatures, but you know, just some basic ground rules because your models have to look good. Oh, and by the way, hands! This is probably all you're going to see of me because, well, I can't really fit my whole self into this tiny place. So, hands! Anyway, first thing we're going to focus on is making sure that you get a good clean cut on your models here. So, as you can see, if I'm taking off something from the sprue, you want to get as close to the actual model as possible. Now this is basically common sense. I don't really need to tell you this. I'm just going over it just in case you're starting from the very beginning, because I'm not sure if I'm putting this on YouTube. I don't know who's going to watch it. I don't know who's going to need pointers or anything, and I'm not going to show you every single painstaking step along the way. I will like pause and skip bits, so you'll probably see a lot of models where I go, here's what I made earlier, or something to that effect. But yeah. Now, as I said earlier, do not twist these off the wire. You do need a pair of clippers. I can't stress that enough. And also, when you're picking the bits, because I always give you extra bits that you won't need, have a bits box. Mine is absolutely colossal, and I'll probably show you that in another clip, in another tutorial, when I'm doing custom models or something like that. But make sure, when you're doing your actual army here, pick off the bits so that you have a plan and you know what you're going to be building. And again, that sounds like common sense, but if you're building something like a Space Marine, he'll be in a different kind of heroic pose as to what a Kroot would be. So pick the bits that give it the most dynamic and interesting pose. For this one, I'm going with the arms where he's actually aiming down the rifle. And you know, you can normally get previews of these online or look them up on the box or something like that. So you'll always have a good idea of what you're doing. And again, I'm just going to cut these out, and I won't make you watch me stick them together because actually I'll show you how like the really simple parts of doing that, because that's probably a good step to cover, like putting them together probably. So I'm going to cut the camera out here so you're not watching me painstakingly cut out all the little bits for this guy. And I'll bring you back in a second. Okay, so we've got our Kroot warrior put together mostly, like his arms and his legs are in the right place. Now here's the tricky bit. Games Workshop normally give you a full arm holding a gun and then this little stubby, handless, armless thing which you somehow got to attach between the two without losing it totally. And quite often they don't always match up, so you either have to file it down or find some green stuff and extend it. There is a cheat to that, and I'm showing you it now. Okay, first off, glue this arm to the model. Just like this. I hope you can see. I'm actually checking the camera to make sure I'm not blocking this blocking your sight a bit. So again, don't worry about this arm because this is the arm I always stick the pauldron to. Don't ask me why. I think it's stupid that they only give you one pauldron per character, incidentally, because it's, you know, it's the whole I don't know if you know about who Rob Liefeld is, but he always used to give his characters one shoulder pad, and it always used to look really bad. And you know, why would you want one shoulder pad? What protection does that confer? It's silly. And also anatomy, like pieces of ham sewn together. So yeah, once that's on, that one arm, and you're sure it's not going to slip off, like I'm kind of not, but oh well, that'll do. Then you take this arm and the glue. You put a little bit on the snub of the hand, just here at the wrist, like a tiny little drop, not too much, otherwise you'll get a really disgusting gummy effect, and that'll be hard to make invisible when you're painting. Again, not too much on the arm as well. And then when you glue the arm onto the body, this is kind of a common sense thing, so I really apologize if you're screaming, "Shut up, what you're doing is obvious," at your monitor, and skip forward about a minute or so to the interesting painting bits. You don't have to watch this, and it might actually be in a totally separate part of the videos. I'm not really sure how I'm going to arrange these just yet. But yeah, the arm's on, and I've bodged it up. I'm probably going to put some music over this so you can watch me wrestle with it in fast motion. But yeah, there you go, arms on. For putting on the shoulder pad, go on here first, because unless you have like nails, unless you have nails as long as your arm, there is no way you are going to be able to hold it and be able to maneuver it without touching the bit with glue on. Just remember, when plastic glue is still drying, you can still maneuver it. There we go. I'm not happy with him, but he's passable for now. Like I said, I'll probably pull him apart after the tutorial's over and re-put him together, but as long as you remember like where I put the glue, especially for this arm, that you put it on the arm piece itself and on the end of the hand that's holding the gun. Make sure that you start with the legs on the base, and make sure you only use a little bit of glue when you're putting things together. Shouldn't be too hard. Now while he's drying, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so once you've got your molds together, they're all painted, well, unpainted, basically pieces of grey plastic, but you've got the form of the model now. You're sure that this is what you want your army to look like. Then it's time to start spraying. You want to arrange them in kind of that, with 3 at the back and 3 at the front, or like half at the back, half at the front, and in this pattern here, so it's kind of like a pyramid structure. That means that you'll get coverage when you're spraying from the front or the side or the back or whatever with the spray can, and you'll always hit them all. It's a little bit off and on. As I said, this rule here isn't set in stone, but feel free to follow it. Just to cover my ass health and safety wise, please, if you're under 12, don't do this yourself. Get your closest adult to do it. Your mum, your dad, whatever. It's probably not a good idea if you're under 12 to be using spray paint. In fact, if you're under 12, you shouldn't really be doing this hobby. But then that's my opinion, not indicative of the people who make these models. Again, to cover my ass legally and health and safety wise. Okay. Hands